What if I told you your entire approach to manifestation rests on a quiet misunderstanding, a small tilt in perspective that keeps you in the loop of wanting, waiting, and wondering why it always feels just out of reach? What if even the way you breathe is unknowingly creating a kind of interference, a subtle static that pushes your desires a step farther every time you reach for them? It isn't your fault. We were all taught to operate this way. Today, we change that. I'm going to share a breathing pattern rooted in the same principles that reshaped physics and our understanding of reality. This isn't another feel-good trick. This is about aligning your being with the most fundamental law there is. Most teachings tell you to breathe for your desires. They ask you to imagine your dream as something out there, separate, waiting to be pulled in. We learn to treat the loving relationship, the financial freedom, the vibrant health as destinations. But what if the premise is backward? Quantum physics revealed something so disruptive it cracked the old model. Two particles can become entangled and act as one system. Touch one, and the other responds instantly, no matter the distance. Across a room or across a galaxy, the connection is immediate. Now try this on. Your consciousness and your deepest desires are already entangled. If that is true, then manifestation is not about pulling something across a gap. It is about recognizing no gap exists. I'm not giving you a cosmic vending machine breath. I'm inviting you into a shift of perception. We will use the entanglement principle to dissolve the illusion that you and what you want are separate. Manifestation becomes an act of recognition, not a long campaign of acquisition. Here is the deepest truth, the one your soul keeps whispering. You are not trying to get something you lack. You are remembering what you already are. Go back to the early debates in physics. Einstein looked at this phenomenon and called it spooky action at a distance. It seemed to break the speed limit of the cosmos. Later work confirmed that the weirdness was real. The lesson under the math was simple and staggering. Separation is an appearance. What we think of as two things are at a deeper level, one system showing two faces. There is no little signal flying between them. There is only the single field expressing itself in different places at once. Let that sink in. Think of the moments you felt a tug in your chest, and then a loved one called. Think of the times you thought of someone, and they appeared. Maybe you were brushing against this same architecture, not as numbers on a page, but as experience in a life. If entanglement is the way things are at the root, then your dream is not outside of you. It is bound to you, as surely as your breath. Here's the part that shifts your sense of power. When one particle is observed, the other doesn't change randomly. It changes in perfect correlation with that observation. Focus collapses possibilities into actuality. Attention becomes participation. You are not a spectator of reality. You are a co-author. When you aim your awareness at a desired state, you are not reaching outward. You are activating a relationship that already exists. This is why traditional methods can feel like slogging through sand. If you believe the thing you want lives elsewhere, your nervous system keeps broadcasting separation. It's a wave in the ocean trying to attract the ocean. But a wave doesn't attract water. It is water wearing a temporary shape. Your awareness and your desire are two expressions of one field. Every true desire you feel isn't proof of lack. It is a signal from the field itself. When you ache for love, it is love waking up to its own presence through you. When you yearn for abundance, it is abundance recognizing itself in your awareness. When you long for health, it is wholeness reminding your body of its nature. If this is so, Manifestation isn't getting. It is dissolving the fog that pretends you are separate. The seeker and the sought are the two ends of one whole. They only seem apart because of a lens we were handed long ago. This is where breath becomes the bridge. The breath meets you at the edge between the invisible world and your lived experience. The right pattern does more than calm you. It trains your nervous system to live in alignment with unity. Certain patterns soften the boundary your mind draws between you and the thing you want. They let your body feel what the equations say. When you breathe from unity, you harmonize with the same coherence that keeps entangled particles in step across galaxies. This is not metaphor, it is application. Mystics knew this without equipment. They said consciousness is one field wearing many faces. They told the story of a wave that realizes it is the ocean. Now our best instruments circle back to the same conclusion. Separation is the grand illusion. Unity is the ground. Before we go deeper, try a quick practice. 3 slow breaths. On each exhale, say softly, I release the illusion of separation. Breathe in. Exhale, I release the illusion of separation. Again, breathe in. Exhale, I release the illusion of separation. Once more, notice the shift. You are not forcing anything. You are giving your body permission to remember. Your mind may call it imagination. Your nervous system calls it relief. The field calls it truth. If this resonates, anchor it. Declare it in your own words. Let your statement be more than a note. Let it be instruction to your subconscious and a clear signal to the universe that you are done with the veil of lack. Ancient traditions carried this recognition for millennia. They used the language of spirit instead of particles, but they pointed to the same reality. They taught that the wave does not need to reach the shore to be complete. It needs to recognize what it is. A story from that wisdom speaks of a small, anxious wave, straining to arrive. A wise wave glides beside it and says, "Little one, you have it backward. You are the ocean itself appearing as a wave." The moment this lands, the struggle stops. The wave doesn't vanish. It moves with its nature instead of against it. The Kashmir teachings explored this recognition through breath. They practiced divine recognition in the inhale and the exhale. Inhale as the universal force gathering into awareness. Exhale as the universal force expressing as the whole world. Breath by breath, the imagined line between observer and observed thins and clears. The Sanskrit insight, I am the universal principle, is not ego. It is accuracy. Consciousness is not a tiny self peering out at a separate universe. It is the intelligence that appears as both the one who looks and everything seen. This flips manifestation on its head. Instead of trying to attract abundance from elsewhere, you recognize that the awareness of wanting is abundance itself visiting you, inviting you to remember. The one who seeks healing is wholeness appearing to itself as the need for healing. The heart that longs for love is love itself, remembering its nature. Another old mantra whispers, I am that. Inhale, the universe recognizes itself as you. Exhale, you recognize yourself as the universe. The border dissolves not by force but by recognition. This is entanglement written in breath. Mind makes the illusion of separation. Breath melts it. The next time you feel desire rise, do not tell yourself, I want this. Shift to, I recognize this as already mine. Feel the difference. One phrase keeps the gap alive. The other removes it. That shift is the entanglement lighting up in your awareness. Now let's talk technique. Most breath practices teach you to breathe for the thing. Inhale to pull it closer. Exhale to push doubt away. Hidden inside that good intention is the old lie. You and the thing are apart. Your body hears that message and keeps you in the posture of reaching. Even while your mind affirms abundance, your cells are vibrating, not yet. The shift is simple and radical. Stop breathing for your desire. Start breathing as your desire. When you breathe as abundance, your system stops scanning for it and starts broadcasting it. When you breathe as love, your heart stops aching and begins overflowing. When you breathe as health, your body stops bracing and starts remembering. I call this the mirror breath. It works with the fact that consciousness and its expressions are a single field. Just as entangled twins mirror each other instantaneously, your breath can mirror the already fulfilled version of you. Recognition collapses potential into lived reality. You are not breathing to get somewhere. You are breathing to notice you are already there. Here is the essence. On the inhale, breathe with the breath of your fulfilled self. This is not pretend. It is recognition. The awareness that notices the desire is the fulfilled reality wearing a veil. Let your inhale be the universe recognizing itself as the you who has always been whole. On the exhale, release with quiet, grounded gratitude. Not gratitude as a tactic, but as the natural tone of truth, recognized. The exhale is the ease of someone who has never known lack, who simply forgot for a while. This creates a mirror effect. A real mirror doesn't strive to reflect. It reflects because that is its nature. When you embody the state, reality reflects it without struggle. Consistency matters, not force. As you keep breathing as the fulfilled self, the outer scene begins to reorganize around the signal you are now emitting. I watched this change a woman's life. Years of scarcity had worn her down. She tried everything, and nothing lasted. When she shifted from breathing to get money to breathing as someone who had never worried about money, at first it felt false. The bank balance argued, the bills argued, but she kept going gently. The knot in her stomach began to loosen. She stopped checking balances like a survival reflex. Decisions came from steadiness instead of fear. Then the mirror turned. Work appeared she had been blind to. A payment arrived she didn't expect. A partnership opened that fit her. More important than any deposit, she realized abundance had always been broadcasting. She had been tuned to a station of lack. She described the change like taking off dark glasses indoors and finally seeing the light that had been there the whole time. She didn't become abundant. She recognized that abundance had always been her base note. Try a quick experiment now. Bring to mind something you genuinely desire. Close your eyes. 3 breaths, not as someone wanting it, but as someone for whom it is done. Notice the expansion. Notice the calm. That is your field shifting in real time. If you are ready to move from wanting to being, make it sacred. Tell yourself, I breathe as my fulfilled self. Let those words set a new baseline for your day. A gentle warning. If you rush, you turn this into a chore and miss the point. People skip to technique without the foundation and wonder why nothing moves. When you practice from recognition instead of strain, everything changes. You aren't collecting another tool. You are remembering a law your soul already knows. Here are the 6 steps. They rewired my reality in 3 short weeks. The 5th step is where the change becomes your new normal. Step 1, recognition. Before any breath, remind yourself softly, my consciousness and my desires are already one field. Let that truth sit in your body. This isn't optimism, this is accuracy. Step 2, settle. Relax your muscles. Soften your attention. Drop the agenda. You are not conjuring a special state. You are allowing the wave to rest as ocean. Step 3, inhale as fulfilled self. Breathe in slowly, and let the breath belong to the version of you who is already whole. Not imagining, recognizing. Your inhale is the universe knowing itself as you complete. Step 4. Exhale as embodied gratitude. Breathe out completely. Let the exhale carry the quiet thanks of a reality that never lacked anything essential. This is the sigh of relief when truth lands. Pause here. The mistake most people make is to perform feelings. They try to feel abundant on the inhale and try to feel grateful on the exhale. That keeps the distance alive. The magic is not in generating emotion. It is in recognizing nature. When recognition lands, emotion follows on its own. Step 5. Sustain in ordinary life. This is the hinge. Do not leave the breath on the cushion. Pay a bill as someone who has always known peace. Walk into a room as someone who has always been loved. Face a diagnosis as someone who trusts the body's intelligence. Moment by moment, live from the end. This rewires pathways and recalibrates your baseline signal. Step 6. Live as unity. With gentle consistency, the effort drops away. You no longer remind yourself who to breathe as. You recognize there was never anyone else to breathe as. The seeker, the seeking, and the sought dissolve into the simple fact of consciousness being itself everywhere. When you practice from this ground, your posture toward life changes. You stop asking, "How do I get what I want?" and begin living, "I am what I seek." Your words soften. Your presence settles. You become naturally magnetic, not because you are pulling, but because you've stopped pushing away with the frequency of not yet. The wave does not disappear into the ocean. It realizes it never left. This recognition is rarely fireworks. It is often the quiet click of a latch. The room brightens. The world is the same, and you see it clearly. What seemed missing was hidden behind a film that finally washed away. Here is a bonus practice for tonight. Before sleep, place a hand over your heart for 2 minutes. Breathe slowly and repeat, "I am already everything I seek." Feel the words as a vibration, not a sentence. Let this be the last flavor your mind tastes before drifting off. Notice the difference in the morning. This is not programming yourself with a fantasy. It is convincing your nervous system to trust what has always been true. When this stabilizes, your reality shifts in the cleanest way possible. The outside does not change first to make you feel different. You recognize first, and the outside reorganizes around that recognition. It isn't supernatural. It is coherent. When you stop broadcasting separation, the field stops reflecting it. When you embody unity, unity becomes tangible. Unity breathing dissolves the illusion of distance. You and your desires reveal themselves as what they have always been. Entangled expressions of one consciousness. Manifestation stops being a campaign. It becomes recognition. Here is your 7-day invitation. Each morning, before you stand up, breathe as your fulfilled self for 3 minutes. No strain, no counting. Inhale as completion. Exhale as gratitude. But the 7th sunrise, you won't need me to explain any of this. Your body will know. If this lands, explore deeper practices on breaking the habit of old identity. People are healing, changing, and building new lives by rehearsing new being until it sticks. Try the mirror breath for a week, and then come back and speak your evidence. Your story will become someone else's permission slip. Let's make this real in the places your life actually happens. In the kitchen while the kettle warms. At a red light, when impatience tries to climb into your chest. In the quiet minute before you open a message you have been avoiding. In those ordinary scenes, the old habit of separation returns by reflex. That is where you install the new baseline. Start with a tiny ritual you can repeat anywhere. Touch thumb to index finger and breathe one slow inhale as your fulfilled self. On the exhale, whisper inside your chest, "Thank you." Then thumb to middle finger and repeat. Then thumb to ring finger and repeat. 3 fingers, 3 breaths, less than 30 seconds. This becomes your stealth calibration. Nobody needs to know you are rewiring your field in plain sight. Over time, your body begins to anticipate relief the moment your thumb meets your fingers. The anchor fires, and your breath deepens on its own. This is how you move from practice to pattern. Now bring this into a conversation. Someone criticizes your work, and the old program starts its monologue. In that instant, give yourself one mirror breath. Inhale as the you who is already secure, already grounded in worth. Exhale as gratitude for clarity. Notice how the room changes. You hear the useful part of the feedback without swallowing the poison. You answer cleanly. You do not defend your existence. The outer scene becomes a mirror, not of fear, but of steadiness. Bring it to money. You are about to pay a bill and feel the familiar tightening. Pause. Inhale as someone who has always been supported. Exhale as someone who circulates value with ease. If that feels too far away, shrink the horizon. Inhale as someone who can pay this one bill today. Exhale as thank you for this one bill being covered. The field does not require drama. It responds to coherence. One proof of coherence is the absence of strain. Bring it to love. You open a dating app and the old voice starts its arithmetic. Not enough matches, not enough time, not enough charm. Breathe as the person whose presence is already a home. Exhale as gratitude for connection, already alive in your chest. You show up differently. You do not perform. You do not overshare from hunger. You let curiosity move the conversation. The quality of people who reach toward you changes because you changed the station you are broadcasting. Let's talk about resistance because it will appear. Some days the mirror breath will feel like fog. You will inhale and feel nothing. You will exhale and hear the old doubts recite their script. On those days, you do not escalate. You simplify. Pick the smallest true state you can embody without effort. Inhale as someone who can take one honest breath. Exhale as someone who can take another. Stay there until your nervous system stops bracing. Only then widen the circle to abundance or love or health. Mastery is the art of choosing the smallest step that is still forward. Here is a troubleshooting guide you can hold in your pocket. If you feel numb, slow down by half and soften the muscles around your eyes and jaw. If you feel restless, stand up and practice the breath while walking slowly, letting each footstep become the exhale. If you feel sad, do not try to outrun it. Inhale as the you who can hold sadness without drowning. Exhale as the you who can let sadness move without clinging. The goal is not to manufacture bright emotions. The goal is to stay with truth until it breathes through you. Call in the body as an ally. Your spine is an antenna. Sit or stand so that the crown of your head lifts gently as if a thread were drawing you up. Let your tailbone descend. Let the shoulders settle. This shape tells your nervous system that safety is possible. Safety is the floor under magnetism. From that floor, the mirror breath amplifies. Now a deeper layer. Identity runs on repetition. Repetition runs on environment. Design your space to cue the state you want. Place a small stone on your desk. Each time you see it, take one mirror breath. Tuck a short note into your wallet. I am what I seek. Each time you pay for something, touch the note and exhale gratitude. Change the lock screen on your phone to a single word like whole or home or ocean. Let it interrupt the old scroll and bring you back to breath. These tiny edits remove friction. They keep you inside the frequency without strain. Build an evening close to seal the day. Before you sleep, list 3 moments when you breathed as your fulfilled self, no matter how small. I breathed as calm while waiting in line. I breathed as love while texting my sister. I breathed as health while pouring water instead of another coffee. Speak them out loud. Your voice teaches your body that these micro-choices count. The body believes what it hears from you repeatedly. Let's strengthen the morning open. When you wake, do not reach for the world yet. Place a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly and take 5 mirror breaths. Inhale as completion. Exhale as gratitude. Then set 1 sentence as the tone for the day. Today I move as someone who has always been supported. Today, I speak as someone who has always been chosen. Today, I walk as someone whose body knows how to heal. Carry only 1 sentence so your mind can remember it when the day gets loud. What if you lose the thread in the middle of stress? You can repair in under 60 seconds. Use the 4-4s method. 4 slow steps, inhaling as fulfilled self. 4 slow steps, exhaling as gratitude. Repeat 4 times. That is barely a minute. You can do it in a hallway. You can do it in a bathroom stall. You can do it beside your car. The field does not require perfect conditions. It meets willingness. Let's inoculate against skepticism. A part of you might say this is just breathing and pretending. Let that part speak, and then give it evidence. Recall a time you prepared for a hard conversation and showed up collected. Notice how the other person softened in response. That was the mirror in action. Recall a time you walked into a room carrying tension and watched the tension ripple outward. That was also the mirror in action. You already know how fields echo. Now you are choosing to echo coherence on purpose. Here is a practice for decision-making. When faced with a choice, sit upright and take 3 mirror breaths. Ask 1 clear question. Which option matches the frequency of the fulfilled self I am breathing as? Do not hunt for fireworks. Listen for the option that lets your breath stay open. Choose the path that does not collapse your chest. Breath quality is guidance in plain language. You can embed this in creative work. Before you write, design, record, or present, set a tiny runway of 7 breaths. Inhale as the version of you who has already created something true. Exhale as gratitude to the work for choosing you. You will feel your sentences smooth out, your voice steady, your ideas arrange themselves with less force. The field loves to move through open doors. Your breath is the hinge. Bring it to the body when it hurts. Breathe as someone whose cells remember repair. Exhale as someone who trusts timing. This does not mean denial. It means you stop telling your tissues the story that they are broken. You begin telling them the story that they know the way home, and you will not interrupt the journey with fear. Build a weekly long practice to deepen the groove. Choose 1 day and give yourself 20 minutes. The first 5 minutes are settling and recognition. The next 10 are mirror breathing with a single theme. The final 5 are silent, sitting in the residue of that theme. No affirmations, no visual boards, just the afterglow of coherence soaking into your nervous system. This is how you make the state familiar enough that your body returns to it without being asked. Let's expand the anchor phrases so you can rotate them and keep them fresh. I breathe as the one who has already arrived. I breathe as the house love lives in. I breathe as the river money flows through. I breathe as a body that knows how to heal. I breathe as clarity that moves without doubt. Speak 1. and breathe it until your shoulders drop. Then carry it into the next task. Give yourself a way to measure progress that is not tied to the clock, or the bank account, or the number on the scale. Measure by recovery time. How quickly do you notice separation and come back to unity? Measure by decision quality. How often do you choose from calm rather than fear? Measure by how kind your inner voice has become. These are leading indicators. The outer world will catch up. It always does when the signal is consistent. If setbacks come, refuse the old verdict that you are back at zero. Nothing learned is lost. The nervous system keeps the imprint. 1 minute of mirror breath today is not the same as 1 minute on the first day. The groove is deeper. The field is closer. Trust compounding more than intensity. Now carry this into the spaces that used to make you shrink. Walk into the interview breathing as someone who already contributes. Walk onto the stage breathing as someone who already belongs. Walk into the gym breathing as a body that is already an ally. The room will feel different because you are different. People respond to the reality you insist on quietly and consistently. Let's finish with a 7-day deepening plan you can stick on your wall. Day 1. Practice the 3-finger anchor 5 times through the day. Day 2. Add the money moment. 1 mirror breath before every payment or purchase. Day 3. Add the love moment. 1 mirror breath before every message or call. Day 4. Add the body moment. 1 mirror breath before every meal and every time you drink water. Day 5. Add the creativity moment. 7 breaths before you start any focused work. Day 6. Add the repair moment. If you notice separation, use the 4-4s method within 2 minutes. Day 7. Add the evening seal. Name 3 times you breathed as your fulfilled self and speak them aloud before sleep. By the end of the week, your baseline will have shifted, not through strain, but through gentle accumulation. Remember the simple logic under all of this. The field mirrors what is stable. Stability comes from small repetitions done with sincerity. Breath is the simplest repetition available. Use it like a craftsman uses a tool, not like a gambler uses a charm. Patiently, precisely, daily. You are not trying to conjure a life you do not deserve. You are letting the life that already fits you step forward. You are the ocean remembering itself in the shape of a wave. Breathe as that, walk as that, speak as that, and watch how the mirror becomes clear. Carry this with you. You are not separate from what you seek. You are what you seek.